like Joey Cave to Mike Ness and Trevor Keith to the hardcore city in Washington DC.
Eccoci qua amici, bentrovati sul mio canale Twitch anche questa settimana per me importantissima perché settimana di St. Patrick. È vero, un altro St. Patrick che ci vivremo a casa, non avremo modo di fare concerti, non avremo modo di incontrare persone, ma ho un programma fittissimo con tante iniziative culturali per legarci un po' al mondo dell'Irlanda e a vivere lo spirito giusto. Ma non ci confiniamo solo ed esclusivamente nell'isola di Smeraldo, cercheremo di andare anche un filino più lontano e una delle cose che ci porta di solito lontano è la musica. In questa settimana avrò più occasioni per parlare di questo bellissimo album che è il nuovo lavoro dei Ramjacks, band con la quale abbiamo condiviso il palco in un paio di occasioni, sia come Undead che con il mio progetto insieme ai Rebel Poets, e vi preannuncio che l'intervista e la chiacchiera che andremo a fare nei prossimi minuti sarà in inglese, ma ovviamente verrà ricaricata su YouTube e lì avrete a disposizione i sottotitoli, anche se devo dire che con l'italiano il mio ospite se la cava abbastanza. So please welcome from Boston, my man, Mike. How's it going, buddy?
What's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I was talking to my followers that the interview is gonna be in English, but you know a little bit of Italiano. We know it, right?
Sì, vero. Come va? Tutto a posto?
Bene, benissimo. I'm super glad that you're able to sit down with me to talk about this brand new record, your very first professional recording with the Ramjacks. After a few days from the release, what's the feeling around this beautiful record?
And I am blown away by how positive people have been about this. I mean, so I'm just posting that to our Facebook. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's a new singer. That's a big change. So I was a little bit worried. I don't really care what people think, but at the same time, I think everybody does a little bit, you know. And after the album came out, everybody was just like, "This is amazing. This is the best." So I don't know. I was blown away. I couldn't believe it.
That's great. Well, I gotta say that the album surprised me for several different reasons, and we're gonna talk about that. But yeah. First of all, you're in Boston right now, right? You just moved from a block to another, from what I saw through your Instagram profile, right?
Yeah. Okay, so April 1st, I moved into the North End, which is the Italian section of Boston.
Okay,
that's it's our little Italy.
Italian thing going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My manager would get mad if I didn't. So
that's great. I hope you appreciate this sweater I'm wearing.
Yeah, of course, absolutely, man.
Okay, so let's get into the record. First of all, we talk about that even when you were still here in Italy. How much was important for you to start writing with a new band in a completely foreign country? How much helpful was the situation for you?
Honestly, the way that I write, if I'm put in a weird situation, like it could be anything. I could be lost in a subway in Japan, which is easy to get lost there. I could be, in the freaking jungle in Costa Rica, and that's for some reason what makes weird song ideas just happen in my head. So being in another country, and being, I don't know, kind of having to live there and write the album in another country, I don't know, it put me in a good space to write, and I loved it.
Well, I can imagine that it was challenging. Also, probably the fact that the band has such a long history behind them, but you have quite a long history as a songwriter by yourself. Your previous activities with bands, were we talking about like almost the same genre or a little bit different from the Ramjacks?
Yeah, so I have a band back in Boston called Mickey Rickshaw, and it's basically if you mix the Pogues with like H2O and the Bouncing Souls.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, I grew up in the hardcore scene, so I mean, branched off, started playing Celtic punk. So naturally it made sense that I joined the Rumjacks because I love Celtic punk, I love punk rock. It all just kind of blended together. And while writing the album, the only band I listened to from the time I joined the band to when the album, like when we finished recording, I only listened to the Rumjacks because I wanted to really capture a lot of their sound, a lot of their old sounds, and yeah, I didn't want it to sound completely different because I knew it would sound a little bit different, but yeah.
Yes, because I remember that you told me I was scared about being the Boston guy inside the band and bringing the Boston sound to the band, because we know that the sound in Boston when it comes to that kind of Celtic influences is pretty like straight. Like you got all those bands, you got the Dropkick, but again you got the hardcore scene, Slapshot, and all those kind of bands. So it's easy to get in that kind of mood, or the Bostons with that kind of singing. You try to recreate the feeling that the Rumjacks belong to.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to do anything that would be too unnatural to me because it would be very obvious. It would just wouldn't sound right. You know, I'm not singing in a fake Scottish accent, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think inevitably that the Boston influence, the whole New England music scene in general, has a big part in this album, especially the CT ska scene. I just should shout out because that was a big part of the upbringing. There's a lot of ska in the album.
The album came out in different versions, but I know that we got to go on and talking about each and every song. It's going to be a little track by track thing that it's something that really it's really enjoyable in my opinion, because something it's not easy to, you know, it's not always out there in the lyrics, and maybe having a second thoughts, it's better. So the first song on the record, it's Naysayers. How did you decide to start that? Why did you decide to start the record with this song? It's got to be the first punch, the first kick in your mouth. So how did you came up with this idea?
Well, a lot of the comments we were getting, people were like, "Oh, it's gonna be so soft. The album's gonna sound like Mumford and Sons mixed with Justin Bieber. It's gonna." I was like, "All right, here's one for the naysayers." So it's like, tss, and it just goes in like to that fast beat right away. And then the song itself is about it's about the Irish famine. It's kind of I don't know. It's a whole story. It's a story that I wrote about this guy who enacts all this vengeance on these, you know, these lords that are basically causing all these problems in Ireland in the 1800s.
There is a lot of Irish culture and history, and we're gonna get through this because I know you got a long story behind that. The second track on the record, it's Bullhead. And it's a very nice track. It's that kind of track that make you miss more the live shows and all those kind of things. When you listen to the song, you say, "Oh God, I want to hear it live."
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these songs the way I write, I imagine it live. That's the only reason I would write music, is to play it live, you know. So that's all with that in mind. And Bullhead, I think we talked about this in Milan a little bit. So this is about a relative of mine, Terence McSweeney, who is the Lord Mayor of Cork. And he was arrested and he died after a hunger strike of like 73 or 74 days or so. He only took holy water and communion. So it was a long process. And I just thought, you know, I love Irish rebel music. It runs in my family's blood. That's why we ended up in Boston. And I wanted to kind of pay tribute to that.
There is this sensation. There are a couple of questions that I keep asking myself. Rumjacks, it's a worldwide band. You got a community in Italy. You got a fan base in the US. You got a fan base obviously in Sydney, Belfast, and a huge following in Europe in general. So when you imagine these songs in France or maybe Germany, and maybe people just come to the show for dancing, uh, what's the feeling like? I put so much effort and so much heart in this song, and you just raise your fist and mosh to that. What's the feeling? Can you stand this kind of feeling, like a different approach to the song? Like, okay, it's just music, and maybe somebody else getting a little bit deeper inside the meaning of the song.
Excuse me. So I mean, with the writing, I honestly, for some reason, I don't know why, I don't expect anyone to ever read or even listen to the lyrics. I don't know why. I just write it for me. I just write what I like, what I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I appreciate this. I want to feel like I wrote something good for myself. And maybe it's just, I don't know what it is, but I just assume people are just going to hear the music and go, oh, okay, cool. So every time people come up to me and talk to me about the lyrics, I'm like, oh, damn, you actually listened to it. So that's still a shock to me. And also, I mean, I still haven't played any shows with the Rumjacks yet. So from what I've experienced with like Mickey Rickshaw is like, you know, we'll play Germany and people are talking to me about our songs where I write songs about like specific neighborhoods in Boston, like Allston. And they're just like telling me about Allston, Massachusetts. And I'm just like, how do you know like about, I don't know. It's crazy.
The third song on the record, it's actually the title track, and now we're gonna see a little bit of the video. How much of you is inside the video making of the Rumjacks?
So I didn't do this one. Our friend Gianluca Grandinetti, he directed this one. I am a filmmaker. I directed a few of the other music videos, but this one, when he agreed that he would do a video for us, I was so excited. And I said, yeah, man, you do your thing. I do not want to be involved. I don't want to mess up his vision. I don't want too many cooks in the kitchen, you know? Just let him be the head chef and I'll just do what you're seeing on screen now.
Yeah, I think that it helps a lot to have that kind of member in a band that is actually able to take care of different things. I mean, especially now, there is no chance to play live shows, so you keep yourself busy while doing videos, recording cover songs, and trying to post this and to spread it the best way. So this is something that you've done so far. Does it help you in this very difficult moment to have something to do like daily to keep the audience attention?
Absolutely. I mean, it feels like a necessary evil of this, I don't know, social media age we live in. But as a band, yeah, you can rely on just playing shows. Can't do it right now, but there is an importance to social media for bands. And I think it takes a lot of the romanticism about music. It takes it away for sure, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I think it's good if people can really understand the musicians that are making the music they're listening to. I think a lot of times it does demystify it because you think of them as these rock stars, these bands that are living their lives, and then you just see them like eating a banana on a Thursday morning, you know. So it's I don't know. I do think it's important to hustle. If you play that game, it'll be good for you. But I understand people don't want to do it.
I think it's part of, you know, nowadays scene. You can just be an artist. I mean it's good to be an artist. It's good to focus on music, but you gotta multitasking as much as you can. Like, if you're able to shoot photos or to shoot videos or to take care of the graphics, I mean that's a great big part of the job. You gotta be a little bit of managing yourself more than maybe the Pogues did when they were getting big. So that's a completely different feeling. Through These Iron Sights, what is this song all about?
Yeah, so this one is basically, okay, I'm obsessed with history, and lately, the past like few years, I've just been obsessed with World War II history. I don't know why. It's just super interesting. You know, maybe because my grandfather served in the war, and it's interesting to me. So this is just kind of like a soldier's diary, just going through, you know, D-Day into the Battle of the Bulge, circling Bastogne. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just a quick quick song. You know, he's writing letters home to his girl, not knowing if if he's gonna make it. And it was just that sort of thing, just like a long Western intro, which was like we were actually worried because the intro is long. The intro is about a minute and a half long.
Yeah, I thought it was like an instrumental song.
Yeah. And we were just like, is that gonna be weird? And our drummer Pietro, he was like, who cares? Who cares if it's weird? If we like it, then we should do that. Don't worry about people are gonna click next on Spotify. I'm like, who cares? And then it goes into this fast ripper of a song with like basically almost like a breakdown, like a hardcore like two-step part at the end. So it's like that song really shows that like everyone in the band listens to hardcore.
As a filmmaker, because you were talking about the Second World War as a sort of inspiration for you, as a filmmaker, if you want to suggest our listener a good war movie, I know it might sound silly while talking about the album, but you know you're a filmmaker, so
Yeah.
lately in the last 2 or 3 years, so many big movies has been made, not only about the Second World War but also the First World War. Did you enjoy some of them?
So as far as the recent ones, like I loved 1917. I thought that was great. It's often called the Forgotten War for a reason. I mean, people, we in school we glance over it. We talk about World War One and then we talk about World War II for months. But one of my favorite war movies of all time is called Come and See. It's about a young kid and what he's going through on the Eastern Front, and it's shot like a horror movie. It's meant to feel like the absolute disgust of war, and it's just an unbelievably good film.
Okay, that's a good advice, especially in during these awful day we're living stuck at home. That lead us to the next song on the record. That it's actually the first single, right?
Yeah. So I directed this one.
Yep.
I had this idea. So this is supposed to be, this video is day one after your funeral. So this is us. You wake up dead after your funeral and you're in the afterlife and all your buddies are there and they hand you whiskey and everyone's just kind of partying. So that's kind of what this was supposed to be, because the song was written in a cemetery, actually walking through a graveyard of World War I and World War II soldiers that we have in my town. So the song is a conversation between the living and the dead. So it's the living saying, hey, can you sing me a song you wrote from the grave? And then the chorus is the dead singing back. So
Okay.
So that's why we all look like dead people in this video.
Yeah, but you look pretty nice, even if you're dead. I mean,
well, they dress you up. They dress you up and put you in the casket, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's not easy to be put in a casket with a 10-year fight sweater.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Wow.
There is it's this video that got a little bit of Italian friends inside, right?
Yeah. So this was filmed in Piemonte, and it was in this big mansion that I'm not sure what the mansion is used for, but you can only have some ideas. She said there are BDSM clubs from Berlin that come down and rent it out. Who knows what they do in there? So yeah, and then this was an Italian crew. And yeah, our friend Marco, he was behind the camera, and yeah, it was it's
our friends from Gens D's. It's a good
Yep.
Irish dance crew, and
yeah, they made the whole video like perfect. Like they made it awesome. Without them, it would just be a bunch of weird dudes dressed up in an old mansion.
How much was challenging for you filming in Italy with probably a completely different environment from hometown?
Honestly, it was pretty similar. It was interesting to be on set with an Italian crew, and then me directing. It felt really similar to like some of my shoots back home. Sometimes I would like, okay, we got to do this, blah 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 blah, and then Marco kind of like, and then translate. But yeah, no, it was really cool. It was an extremely like easy group of people to work with, especially for like the day was like a 16-hour shoot day or something crazy like that. and everyone was tired, and they all worked so hard. So I mean, can't believe they pulled it off the way they did. And like, when people are tired, their attitudes, they get like, no, everyone was still like, okay, yeah, I'm tired, but let's go. So it was incredible.
The result is great, in my opinion. Track number 6, Tell Me What Happened.
Yeah, this is a song about a man I met in Dublin. I was traveling. I'm just sitting there with my backpack, and this guy just sits down next to me. He started talking about trees or something weird. He was like, "Oh, these trees used to be," and then he just started talking about his life, and then he's telling me about like the girl he was in love with who got away, and how he wrote a song for her, and he used to sing until he saw her again, and then she walked by with her husband, and then he stopped singing that day. So yeah, I know. I wrote this song about him.
Yeah, it's stories, like everyday stories. It's what a songwriter is all about. Probably, I think it's way more difficult for all the band that needs to come out with new songs maybe in the next year, not having actually the chance to meet people, because this is vital for a songwriter, isn't it?
Absolutely. What I'm worried is that there are going to be a bunch of albums coming out this year that all have a song, quarantine song.
Exactly.
And
I was care about it, and you did something that I'm trying to do by myself as well. I'm reading a lot of books. I'm watching movies, and try to avoid from the idea of quarantine, of being isolated, of
Yeah.
not meeting people. I hope I'm gonna have the chance to bring my new songs to actually a real crowd and a live crowd. The next song on the record, it's probably Another Story, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my favorite song. Favorite song I've ever written.
Really?
And this one, this is about a friend of mine who, when we were like 13, 14 years old, we used to we were in the same class, and we would sneak out of class together. There was like a little exit door, and the teacher would like go in the hallway, and we'd go out the door, and we would go to the woods, and we would get in a lot of trouble for it. We were always in trouble. And then while we were out there, at one point, just being teenagers, she carved her name into this stone wall. And then, a few years later, she ended up passing away. And I don't know, the song is kind of about how like this carving of her name might be the only thing left of her actual mark on the earth. So that's
Okay.
kind of what sparked this song.
Can we say it's kind of a love song?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a love song. It's more just it's like a nostalgic reminiscence on an old friendship. But
Okay.
a little bit of a love song also. Yeah. It's got
I
a
know.
lot of elements.
Those two words are always something weird in a rock band, like love songs. But
Yeah.
but
I've never written one.
never read one.
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I guess the Pogues did some.
The Pogues wrote a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were very, very overly romantic, and yeah. But I don't think I've
In a
ever
very
written one.
strange way, in their own way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But yeah.
The next song on the record, it's Golden Death. What this song is all about, and when did you start the lyrics for this one?
Yeah, so this was started in February, which was March. I think I just started talking to the Rum Jacks about joining the band. And this was when the virus was very new. Nobody knew what was happening. We didn't know, we were all hearing about it, but no one knew what was going to happen, and no one could trust anything. And I think that's a problem in society today, is people don't know what to trust. Everyone wants to be doing the right thing, but if everyone thinks they're getting lied to about different things, then it's going to be really, really hard for humanity to advance, So this song was a little bit about just general distrust. And then, of course, it's about the Black Plague. Like the actual lyrics are about the Black Plague, like of the verses. Um, so I don't know. I kind of tied it back to like, hey, this has happened before. We've had plagues, we've had pandemics, um, but it's not quarantine song, you know.
Yeah, but also like talking to other artists. I was talking to the guys from the Fratellis to the Foo Fighters lately, and even if they wrote songs way before the pandemic and the virus, somehow, some way, the lyrics fits with the situation because the situation
Absolutely.
it's something that we always had inside. We grew up as punk rocker, and we were not trusting this society, and
Yeah.
like today it's the perfect example of our clash with the society.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because it's very different with like the punk rock community is like, at least over here, they're like, yeah, the virus sucks, wear a mask. You kind of have to do it. No one wants to be doing this. Just wait until we can have shows. And that's so like non-rebellious. But the rebellious people right now are going, I don't have to wear a mask. This virus is fake. I'm not getting a vaccine. It has microchips in it. And then the punks are like, yo, that's not the type of rebellion we're talking about. But and they're going, what? Aren't you punk rock? You're supposed to be rebellious. And it's like, yeah, bro, but science, like
Yes, it
we
always
like,
wins.
yeah, we challenge racism, but we don't challenge science.
Exactly, I'm with you also on this. Lizzie Borden, it's track number 9.
Yeah, so this is a old New England tale. So there's a town about probably 20 minutes from here called Fall River, Massachusetts. And Lizzie Borden in the 1890s, she was a woman who they don't know if she did it, but she killed her parents with an axe. And this like folk tale. It's not a folk tale. It really happened, and it became like a very like wildly famous nursery rhyme in the U.S. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. And I don't know. I wanted to take this New England story and bring it out to the world, because it's like dark, it's twisted, and she went to court for it, and they said that she was innocent because at the time they didn't think women were capable of such a crime. And it's like, bro, you don't know what women are capable of.
Well, if we think about New England stories and women, we just probably think about like the Salem thing and the witch and all those kind of things. It's a brand new thing, and then leads us to the Rumjacks inside the movement and the list of band who's been talking about a serial killer. Because if you look at the history of rock and roll, most of the band has at least one song about a serial killer. So that brings the Rumjacks inside the books of rock and roll. You freezed, buddy. You're a little bit freezed. Maybe it's better if I remove you and then you try to join in next second time. Ok, allora si è frizzato un attimo Mike, adesso ci farà una nuova richiesta per accedere. Bello questo track by track, perché ci aiuta a scoprire i significati anche dietro alle canzoni. Questa filastrocca era veramente molto interessante. I was trying to translate super quick everything that we talk about, but on YouTube, our Italian friends, your Italian friends, gonna understand everything about it. Song number 10, Light in My Shadow.
So I actually wrote this song in Bergamo Alto. I still mix them up. But yeah, this song was written in Bergamo when I was Bergamo. I was in a fight with my friend back home. She's one of my best friends, and we have a very interesting, weird relationship. And yeah, I don't know, me being in Italy, her there, and then I don't know, this whole situation happened and we got in this huge fight and then we just weren't talking. So the song is about it's about a fight that you have with a friend. You're still friends. Like they're always there. They're that light in your shadow, but yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of about that. It was a very situational song.
Well, and it's been written in Bergamo, so and you imagine yourself in Bergamo. That's very important because it's one of the cities that suffered the most for the whole pandemic. So it's cool for them to have a song in the new Rumjux record that it's been written in their own city. I think it's helpful in these difficult days.
Yeah, I don't know if I told anyone. I don't think I've told anybody that was written in Bergamo, but
Now you spoil it.
I met really, really cool people there.
They are. Wanderlust. That's song number 11. What can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so this is fun. This is like a ska song. It's a dance song. It's kind of about, I don't know, when at least when I was young, I always had this dream of like, no, I don't want to settle down. I just want to travel all the time. I just want to work, save up, and then spend all my money traveling. And then, I don't know, maybe 10 years later of that, it's kind of getting burnt out on just wandering around the world. So there's a word, wanderlust. It's like, oh, I just want to wander the earth. But wanderlust is like when you've rusted out on doing that. So it's like, oh, like I've been living this type of lifestyle for so long, and now I have nothing to show for it. But it's a very cynical view of I don't know. It was just a certain feeling that you have after you live this travel lifestyle for so long. But yeah.
I remember that when we were talking, you said there was no better idea in my mind than being able to join a new band and stay in Italy for a while, like months, doing a record. So this song is probably also about that. Like it's a great feeling to be able, especially if we think about it now, to travel the world, living the life you always dream of. That is probably music and stuff like that. So I can imagine that brings that kind of feeling again. Like I want to get back on the road way soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also the things that you miss when you're away all the time. There's friendships, relationships, things happen back home, but you've committed to this life of travel and just like, oh, I need to explore all the time. I don't know why. And yeah, I don't know. I think you can choose love or you choose the road. And like, I think being a musician, you choose the road, you're giving up a lot.
Without forgetting your roots, like H2O used to say, right?
Yeah, of course. But about Toby's roots, he never tells anyone he's from Newport, Rhode Island, this exact town that I'm in now.
Okay.
He's not even from New York.
Okay. Let's make it clear for everybody.
Just kidding. Actually, I saw him at a vegan thing out in LA, and I was talking to him, and I was like, "Yo, I know you're from Rhode Island," and he was like, "Yeah, man, Rhode Island hardcore." We were talking about these old hardcore bands from the '80s, and yeah.
Yes, but it doesn't sound that cool as New York hardcore.
No, not at all. Yep.
Athens to the North. What is the song about?
Yeah, so the title. So okay, I wrote the song in Belfast, and an old nickname for Belfast is Athens of the North.
Okay.
It's an old nickname from when Belfast was developing. There was all this culture and stuff happening, and yeah, the song was kind of just written about a friend of mine and kind of what she was going through. She had gone through some terrible things related to a lot of problems that they have there. So it was kind of just, the song is just kind of like, I got you. Like, I know you're going through this, but like, let me help you out. And this song was written with my other band, Mickey Rickshaw. This is one song that both bands have. I thought it'd be interesting if the Rumjux and Mickey Rickshaw shared one song. I don't know. Just thought it'd be fun to do that.
So there's always been in your songwriting a little bit of attention to your Irish culture and your Irish, relatives.
Yeah, absolutely. I try not to be obvious about it. But yeah, a lot of the Irish influence it's a huge influence on me,
I know it's possible, and it's easy to walk the same path that other bands did. but Irish culture in general has so much, there's so many stories to tell that we can fill up records and records for years and years, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There even this album, it's 15 songs. That was hard to cut it down to 15 songs. We went into the studio with like 30 or something, you know.
Song number 13, it's called Motion.
Yeah, Motion. It's kind of just a fun acoustic one. It's got a good vibe, really catchy melody. And now I'm realizing how many of these songs are just about friends of mine and what they've gone through. But yeah, it's about a friend of mine back home in my hometown, New Haven, who yeah, I don't know, everyone kind of moved out of the town. It was a type of town you grow up, you turn 18, and you move somewhere else. And this is about one of my friends that didn't leave the town and ended up getting addicted to heroin, and you know, goes through all these problems. And it's a terrible drug, and it's huge. It's huge in this part of the country. Um, and there are a lot of people struggling and dying of heroin and fentanyl. And yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of a song for my friend saying like you can get through this sort of thing.
You're wearing a Minor Threats t-shirt, and you are from Boston, so the whole drug addiction thing has been taken very seriously by some of the bands you probably grew up with. Did it help you through the years when you were like, okay, what I'm gonna do with myself? Because to me, that kind of feeling, the hardcore movement, especially the Krishna core movement, all of a sudden came into my life and totally bring me up and took me away from bad situation. Did it happen the same to you?
So it was interesting because when I was so the Connecticut hardcore movement was so big. Like that's where Youth of Today is from. And it was so big that all the older guys were straight edge. Very, I'd call it militant straight edge. And when you're 15, 16, and they're a bunch of older bullies, they were bullies. Like they weren't, it wasn't like a positive, posy vibes kind of scene. These dudes were tough. And when they're saying, I don't know, they were just basically us being younger than them, we rebelled against them and we all did drugs. I didn't. I did a little bit and then I didn't like them. But it was interesting because straight edge was so big that the next generation rebelled against it by doing drugs, which is such a weird, strange, crazy thing. Because young kids, they're impressionable, you know? They think they're making decisions for themselves and they don't realize they're making decisions as a group. And I don't know, it's really an interesting and weird thing. And then I discovered Minor Threat. And then I said, oh wait. And then I really understood what the straight edge movement meant. Because only hearing it from a bunch of people yelling at you as like a 14, 15-year-old, you're not going to listen to that. It's not until you start listening to these bands and you go, oh, this is what this really means. And then I started to feel completely differently about what I put in my body.
Yes, there is always a smarter way to say things, and Minor Threat did that. Because I have the CD version of the album, this is my last track. This is my last track on the record. Good Night and Make Meds.
Yeah. So this song was about one of my best friends. She passed away in June, unfortunately. And she was a poet, and we would play music. We would go to a bar. She would read her poetry, and I would sit behind her and play guitar. And we always talked about writing a song together, and we never did. So after she died, I don't know, I was just kind of reading through her poems, and some of the lines, I was like, man, this would make a great song. So I ended up taking some of her lyrics and then using them to make the chorus of this song, and a bunch of other lines in the song. So, you know, it's a song we did write together, unfortunately a little too late. But yeah, and then we filmed a music video of me and our other friend going to all the bars that we used to go out to, and yeah.
Okay, so for probably the extra track, I'm gonna talk about that with Pietro on Sunday. He's gonna be my guest here in the studio, and we're gonna see a little bit of the Rumjix world, talking about merchandise things and stuff like that. I know you're super pro in packing and sending stuff. I saw the video.
Yeah. That was to show the guys in my band. I had to teach one of the guys. I'm like, hey man, here's how you sell merch. I'm gonna make a video and I'm putting it on YouTube in case it helps anybody else.
That's great. That's great. Let's see. I got a bunch of comments. I got a lot of friends. Like this is my friend Omar saying "bomba," that it means bombs, but not in a negative way. It meant
bomba. Yeah. I learned that from Pietro. When he's listening, he goes, "Que bomba."
exactly, and it's like that. Then we got hearts. This is my girlfriend Claudia, and she loves your band. She loves the fact that we're talking about this this whole movement, that it's important. Mike, thanks again for your time. This is just the beginning of our St. Patrick Rumjix Connected week together. So I'm gonna say hi to all of your bandmates that are all over the world right now, and thank you for your time. Thank you for your friendship first. That means a lot to me.
Of course, man. Grazie mille.
Okay, Mike, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Ciao.
Ciao. E quindi lui era Mike, direttamente dai Rumjix. Questo nuovo bellissimo album si chiama Hestia. Ne parleremo ancora durante la nostra settimana insieme in diretta qui su Twitch. L'album è fuori, lo potete trovare ovviamente nei digital store. Se volete streamarlo potete farlo, se volete ascoltarlo o acquistarlo ci sono diverse opzioni. Ovviamente ci sono i negozi di dischi che dovrebbero essere comunque abbastanza aperti anche in quelle che sono le zone rosse, se no ovviamente ci sono le distro online, c'è una bella selezione con forse anche un merchandise abbastanza ad hoc sul sito di Cortex, ma in generale potete trovare il nuovo lavoro collegandovi anche al sito ufficiale della band, che vi faccio vedere una volta di più in modo tale da essere certi di aver dato tutte le informazioni in senso corretto. Vi ricordo che la nostra settimana, ecco qua, questo è il sito ufficiale dei Rumjix, therumjix.com, molto facile. Shows purtroppo ovviamente è una parte che non viene considerata, però appunto c'è lo shop che direi abbastanza importante, suddiviso tra Europa, Australia, mondo, eccetera, eccetera. Ma su questo discorso tornerò in settimana con il mio amico Pietro, che sarà fisicamente presente qua in studio, e ovviamente con tutte quelle che sono le distanze di sicurezza andremo proprio a mostrarvi, come se fosse una sfilata di moda, quello che è il merchandise della band. Io saluto tutti voi che ci avete seguito. Goffis42, ti saluto, grazie per essere stato con noi. Saluto ovviamente il team, quindi Kevin, Marco, Raf e Tafi, che come sempre ci sono e come sempre forniscono dei contenuti utili per questo canale. Vi ricordo che domani avremo un'altra importantissima diretta dedicata a questa St. Patrick Week. Ovviamente questa settimana non può proseguire senza andare a toccare quelli che sono gli elementi più importanti della cultura irlandese. Un po' ci siamo avvicinati perché, come avete visto, Mike ha tanto da dire e c'è tanto della storia della sua famiglia. Poi non so se siete riusciti a cogliere tutti quelli che sono i riferimenti, però appunto nella versione di YouTube ci sono i sottotitoli, quindi lì andrete proprio a capire come nelle tante canzoni Mike abbia voluto parlare proprio della sua esperienza come figlio di una famiglia con origini irlandesi. Si è parlato appunto della grande carestia. Ecco, a proposito di cultura irlandese, secondo me domani incontro da non perdere con l'autore di uno dei libri che oggi potrei consigliare veramente a tutti per quanto riguarda la cultura irlandese, per capire la sua storia, la sua politica, come ancora oggi, a distanti anni di distanza da quella che è stata la firma del cosiddetto Good Friday Agreement nel 1998, la storia continui in qualche modo a ripetersi. Parleremo dei muri di Erin con Gianluca Cettineo, l'autore di questo bellissimo libro che da quando è stato pubblicato qualche anno fa ha in realtà continuato a raccontare una storia, a raccontare la storia di quel paese, a raccontare tutte le difficoltà legate alla convivenza tra due popoli che hanno una storia purtroppo che troppe volte si è scontrata in maniera cruenta. Io appunto vi ringrazio ancora, la nostra St. Patrick Week è appena iniziata, ovviamente avremo anche un appuntamento importante per mercoledì 17, io l'ho chiamato semplicemente sui miei spazi social St. Patrick Special, vi consiglio di esserci ore 15, ma ricordo, è tutto presente sui miei spazi, lì potete andare a recuperare quelle che sono le informazioni. Grazie mille a tutti, ascoltatevi Estia, il nuovo lavoro dei Ramjex, noi ci sentiamo domani ore 14 qui su Twitch.